This is 5 days in the cell. 5 days. Very top of the food forest. We got a really nice distribution of tillage in here. Mainly using lupins and food scraps. That's where they've been dropping some dung in here. That's where they were 5 days ago. So this was the previous cell. You can see in here the difference between, so that's where they were, so all that legume vine in there, you can see how thick it is. So they really smashed it down and then come back through and sowed some lupins, oats, clover, a few really nice species. This is going to be a future slice of the market garden in here, so we're keeping this relatively open. But really happy with the effect on that. This is actually part of the water harvesting system. There's a driveway runoff comes into here and then drops into this 1,000 litre pit, and then it actually spills out into a contour. So that's the uppermost water catchment area. It's our watering system. Just peg that in. We're on sloping land here, so we just rig it up like that, fix a tree. I'm just below the food forest now. It's the last plateau. This is where we're going to pretty much crop out, strip crop, get the market garden happening on a large scale. 2 buckets of food scraps and boom, they come running. Gotta love pigs. Critical part of the forest ecosystem. There's a pig, beautifully geared. Hey. So the fence is running right up here, behind that eucalyptus, cut in front of that banana, and out behind the pigeon pea and popcorn cassia forest. In front of this tree, oh, just behind it, onto the fence line, there's our reel, and then our reel's coming all the way up. We just use these posts here, got them from Bunnings for about a couple of bucks. Beautiful, just chuck it straight through that hole, pre-insulated, ready to go. And then on the fence we are just using the wood insulators all the way down there. So we're going to get this area ready for cultivation. Whether I put a winter crop in here. Right, so here's the little slice after we put the ground cover in. We weren't sure what we're going to do in here. We're still not 100% sure what we're going to do, but we got this really nice clover, daikon radish, lupin and oat on the ground cover. You can see the clovers establishing under here. Got a really nice daikon radish that's going to come up and protect everything. We had the very early coverage of the buckwheat. We've got a nutrient fixer there, and we've got our grass here. So it's a very placid, gentle kind of mix. So that attacks all the grass that was on this bank, so I don't have the in-laws mowing that grass anymore and flicking into my strip crops. So solve that issue, reduce maintenance for them as well. Now if we come down further, we can see that there's not as much cover crop, and there's the old pig impact. So a really nice ground for catching water, right? It's all micro ponded. But this impact is actually from the chickens. As you can see there, up closer to the fence where the dogs are inside, the chickens don't go up that far. So really nice take up there, but then the chickens graze down a bit of this. And you can see as further as you go down, less and less vegetation, because they come out of their cell and they come and hang out in here, but we don't mind. I don't mind that trade-off for two eggs a day, so food security. So that's what one cell looks like. Below that cell, step over our water absorption pit and our topsoil, and this is what that cell looked like down here. So you can see the cool weather has actually hit this vine quite a bit, so the back vine actually looks like the same maturity as this top vine here, which is graze, but we can see that cover crop I've thrown in there as well, kind of similar cover crop. So that's the bare spot that now it's got a beautiful cover crop in it, ready to go. Let's go have a look. This is the third move spot. You can see the old post for the water trough, and we've put our no-till market garden in here, bred the irrigation line on the upper side, and so that's how we use this cell. So you can see the beds are all nicely tilted up, ready to go. Scraped what vine was left and chucked it on the back end of this keyline swale and chucked it over the other side just to make sure no shoots came back. We've got our tree row in here with the wildflowers underneath and overstory, understory, berry layer, etc. We got more living pathway mix, and then we come into three beds that haven't been done yet, but this is 3 long beds which are for bulk cropping. Say if we want beans, bulk crop beans for the kitchen, and storage, or tomatoes, cucumbers, trellis crops that we can easily put up long trellises for. Got our Curly's Ag flame weeder, what a beast. We've got 3 other smaller beds, they still haven't got to this midsection yet, and then we've got an intensified agroforestry system in here. We done this as part of a workshop, and so we got beets and carrots, we got onions with bok choy understory. We've got a seedling bed that we planted as supplemental biomass. We've got beans and okras down the centre. We've got cauliflowers down the centre. We've got a ground cover of mesclun mix, lettuces. And then we have our direct seeded broccolis and cabbages and cauliflowers. So, nice little bit of rocket, ready for a taste. Delissimo. We can see the difference in living pathway here versus here, and that's just primarily because this tree takes a bit of light in the morning. So after that cell, I moved them up around the top, around the agroforestry windbreak, right at the kind of over the other side of the ridge there. They stayed there for about 4 or 5 days, and they moved under a patch in the tree, and they stayed there again for another 5 days. Then we moved them down here, smashed all the amaranth and everything that was in there below this agroforestry system, and they stayed there for a while, and now they're out on the side of the road. So I'm leaving that because, as you can see here, the red, the amaranth is sprouting all back up through there, and they're going to have a nice clean crop because they love that. They love that bare ground, so they'll beat anything to the party. Right, we'll go have a look at what happened below that. Pigs were, had a little house underneath that lantana. We dropped down here, and we actually put a cover crop and a highland forest, so an L-shaped sun trap, windbreak, biomass production forest, and cover cropped in here. So that forest is going to feed the veggie plot that goes into the cover cropped area once that gets mowed down. So just depending on your context and what you're up to, you don't always have to put something behind the pigs, but the good thing about the pigs actually, if I come over here, so these tomato bushes, these aren't just wild cherry tomatoes because of the food scraps. They're actually big tomatoes. So we got, instead of wild cherry tomatoes popped out, if we come this way, look, that couldn't even, that looks like a wild tobacco, but it could potentially even be an eggplant. You see more tomatoes in here, more tomatoes in there. Come back here, and look, there's a little tomato crop back here, which is pretty awesome because they're going to be roamers or something like that. So that's just roll-on benefits. I'm sure if we look closely enough, we'll also find some pumpkin or something. And then we've also got avocado seeds that will sprout up. They're just more roll-on benefits from natural pigs. Yeah.